878 in the interest of the man-child. Everybody, man-child, I like that. Everybody's going to testify. Please raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, the child is Lilith, Lilith, man. She's obviously, she's not here. She's represented by Mr. Marcus Wood, and CASA is Mr. Mark Grimes, and his supervisor is Miss Kim Singleton, maybe Miss Diana Tryon Goss. She's here. They're both here. The department is represented by let's see who it is, Mr. Rob Wilson with Miss Joanna Foster as caseworker, and let's see, Miss Paylor is the program director, I believe. The mom is Elizabeth Schluter, Schlueter. She's not here. We hadn't seen her in a while. She's represented by Miss Melissa McClure and Miss Mandy McCary. I think Mandy's here. There you are, up top. Okay. The dad is Mr. Brian Mann. He's not here. I believe they entered into a mediated settlement agreement. He's represented by Mr. Matt Grove.
What we're doing today, Judge, is you're exactly right. We entered a mediation agreement with the father in which he agreed to relinquish his rights. An affidavit should be on file from him. The mother did not attend the mediation, and so we're here today to terminate her rights involuntarily and ask the court to terminate the father's rights based on his relinquishment affidavit.
Okay. Why don't you go on and let me see. I don't see if I have a relinquishment affidavit. Let me see. Yeah, I do. Okay. So why don't you go on and just prove them all up at the same time through the caseworker, Mr. Wilson.
All right, will do then, Judge. I will call Johanna Foster, please. Okay. And I may have missed it, Judge, but I don't know if she's been sworn.
Yes, everybody was sworn.
All right, thank you then. Ms. Foster, state your name for us, please.
Johanna Foster.
And Ms. Foster, how are you employed?
I am employed through the Department of Family and Protective Services.
And you are the caseworker for Lilith Mann, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How long have you been on her case?
I've been on her case since May of 2025 when it was transferred to me by a previous caseworker.
Okay. And Lilith was first removed from her parents back in September of 24, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you've been on since May?
Yes.
And so let's go ahead and talk about the father. We all attended mediation a couple of months ago, is that correct?
Yes.
And in that mediation, as part of that agreement, the father agreed to and then did execute an affidavit of voluntary relinquishment, relinquishing his rights to Lilith. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And do you believe that it is in the child's best interest for Mr. Manns, Brian Manns, the father, for his parental rights to be terminated to her?
Yes.
And tell the court why, please.
Sure. I believe it's in the best interest for his rights to be terminated because there have been multiple, sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here, I apologize. So I'll start at the beginning. Long story short, Lilith was born with THC in her system. Before that, she had limited prenatal care through the mom. When Lilith was born, she was not brought in for her regular checkups at the hospital. Her weight, when she got her mom went into the hospital with Lilith, their birth weight was down. Her weight was down from the birth weight, and throughout the stay at the hospital, both parents were needing constant reminders and redirections on educating an infant, and there was an in-room test which they failed on, not responding to her feeding cues and changing diapers. And he has not had contact with her since April, I believe, of this year. I apologize if I don't know the exact date. Prior to that, any visits that were held between Lilith and her father were ended very shortly when Lilith was getting very upset and crying and was not able to be consoled by her parents. And he has not finished all of his services. And because of those reasons, that's why I believe his rights should be terminated.
All right. And Lilith is placed in a foster and what we hope will be a foster adopt placement. Is that correct?
Yes, she's placed with the Millers who are on here.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the mother. So Lilith's mother is Elizabeth Schluter or Schluter. I'm not sure how to say that. That is her mother. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Ms. Schluter is not here today. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And she was given a service plan at the beginning of this case. Is that right?
Yes.
So let's go over that one item at a time and let's talk about what she's done on her plan. All right.
Sure.
So what's the first requirement or step she's supposed to take on her service plan?
The first step is for her to obtain and maintain employment throughout the life of the case.
All right. How
And
did
then
she do on, I'm sorry if I cut you off. How did she do on that, Ms. Foster?
She has never provided us with any pay stubs to my knowledge. And when she has worked, it's been very short employment and she's had different jobs.
Have you ever talked to any employers of hers?
No, not since getting the case.
Okay. All right. What's next on her plan?
The next one is for her to actively participate in therapy with Dr. Tina Nunley. She was meeting with Dr. Nunley on a consistent basis to my knowledge. And then when I reached out to the therapist, when I was assigned the case, the therapist informed me Miss Schluter was no longer attending therapy and she had not heard from her.
All right. And so what steps did her therapist take?
Her therapist took the steps of reaching out to Miss Schluter via email and phone call and never received any response from her.
All right. Was Miss Schluter's counseling eventually terminated by the provider?
Yes.
So do you consider that a successful completion of that task?
No, I do not.
All right. What's next on her service plan, please?
The next one is for Ms. Schluter to participate in weekly drug testing. She was up until I'm trying to think of April, she was testing. It was negative. But her last three or four drug results were positive for alcohol and for marijuana. And then she stopped drug testing in April.
All right. And those positive tests were in April?
They were in, give me 1 second. They were in March and April of
Okay.
this year.
And once those positive tests happened, did you say that she did not test again after that?
That's correct.
Okay. So do you consider that a completion of, or a successful completion of that element of her service plan?
No, I do not.
Okay. What's next?
She her next task was to complete an OSAR drug referral and she never completed it. She
Okay.
was supposed to talk to her therapist about that, and if my memory serves me correct, she did not confirm that appointment to go get that referral done.
So you never received or the department never received an OSAR report from or regarding Ms. Schluter, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right, what's next on her service plan?
The next step was for her to go get a psychological assessment through, I believe it was neuropsychological. She did get she did eventually go get her psychological evaluation. When I reached out to the provider told me that both Miss Schluter and Mr. Mann had scheduling issues and would schedule an appointment and then cancel it or be a no-show. And then during the final and appointment, she was very difficult to get information out of her. But she did provide me with a psychological evaluation report.
But that report indicates she was not forthcoming. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And does that requirement on her service plan also require that she would follow any recommendations based off of that psychological report?
Yes.
And so what recommendations were there from that report?
I have to apologize. I don't have that in front of me. If you would allow me some time, I can pull that up to look. I apologize.
That's okay. Let's come back to that.
Okay.
Same question on the OSAR, Ms. Foster. Did the service plan require that she follow whatever recommendations for treatment that an OSAR report would have recommended?
Yes.
And no report, so thus no recommendations. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
As far as you know, did Ms. Schluter do anything to address substance abuse issues for herself?
I believe when she was talking with her therapist, whatever, I was trying to get progress reports from the therapist and I have not received those yet. Or yeah, I have not received those yet. But that's the only thing to my knowledge of her trying to address those.
Okay, only in her regular counseling, nothing outside of that. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
correct.
Okay. All right, after the psychological exam, what's next on her service plan?
The after that was just to do more counseling with Ms. Nunley, as for like or family counseling. If and when Mr. Bryan and Ms. Schluter had gotten back together, they separated sometime during the case, but that never occurred since they were separated and she lost contact with her therapist and the department.
Okay, so there was no family counseling between her and Mr. Mann then, correct?
That's correct.
No, that would include also no co-parenting type of counseling or anything along those lines. Is that also correct?
Correct. She did not do co-parenting. However, they were assigned a parent coach who they were meeting with on I believe, a consistent basis, but there were times where neither of the parents would show up for the meeting or one would show up versus the other. And I believe they were meeting with the parenting coach up until Miss Schluter lost contact with the department in April.
Okay. And then that parenting coaching service ultimately ended. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or what I should say was terminated either by this court or by the coach themselves. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What else was on her service plan?
That was it.
That was it. All right. So out of all those things you listed, what did she successfully complete? The psychological?
Psychological, and I would say she partially completed the parenting coach / family co-parenting counseling and individual counseling.
Okay. Would you say that she successfully completed that?
No.
But I understand what you're saying. She participated some, and along with counseling, she participated some, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, let's go back to the origins of this case. You described that for us. Let's talk about that again. Let's see, the child was born where? Where was Lilith born? Do you know?
I believe she was born at Baylor Scott and White Hospital in Marble Falls.
Okay. And that's the facility that determined that Lilith was positive for what was it?
positive for THC, but actually, I believe Miss Schluter had to be transported to Dell's Children for ambulance with Lilith, and so it was at Dell Children's where that determination was made.
Okay, thank you. And was it at Dell Children's where the parents received instruction from the nursing staff on how to care for Lilith?
Yes.
And was it also there where the parents were given an opportunity to room in?
Yes.
And we explain to the court what rooming in is for the court or whoever doesn't know.
Sure. Rooming in is when a child is in the hospital for whatever reason, and before the family can be discharged and the child can be discharged from the hospital, the parents need to do a room-in test where they are monitored by hospital staff of the parents being able to take care of the child with very little help of feeding the baby, changing their diapers, clothing them, holding them, just being there to respond to any cues that the child may give.
Okay, and so the hospital basically has a room down the hall, almost like a motel room or hotel room or something. Is that about right?
Yes, I believe so.
And the any parents, and these parents got the chance to take their child down to that room and sort of, like you said, pretend like they're not in the hospital and practice caring for her on their own, right?
Yes.
And the report from the hospital was was what? On
That
how they did on their rooming in.
they failed because they did not respond to her feeding cues and also did not change her diapers in a timely manner.
Okay. And were those a concern, those reports from the hospital and about the rooming in and about the THC, were those concerns for the department?
Yes.
And is that what resulted in the removal of Lilith from her parents?
Yes.
Was there any prior involvement with CPS in Texas or in any other state?
Yes, there was previous CPS involvement, I believe, in Montana and Idaho with the parents.
Okay. And that was on a different child, correct?
Yes, Elizabeth's older son, Achilles, man.
But he's not much older than Lilith, is he?
No,
And
I'd
so,
say
go ahead.
he's about a year or so older than her.
And are you familiar with any of the facts of that case or any of the concerns of that case?
Yes, I am.
And did those also concern the department about Lilith's safety?
Yes.
And the outcome of that case on Achilles was that I believe Achilles' father got custody of him, and Ms. Schluter she may retain some rights as a parent, but did not get custody of him. Is that correct?
Correct. And I believe her rights were terminated.
Okay. All right. So, what do you believe is in Lilith's best interest?
I believe her best interest is to not return to her parents for their rights to be terminated and for her to be in a safe and loving placement.
And tell us about this placement that she's in.
Of course, she's placed with Alicia. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but the Miller family. Lilith's been with this foster family, I believe, for the entire case. I'm not too familiar with the beginning part of it, so I apologize about that. But she's been thriving really well in this foster placement. There's other children in the home where she's grown attached to, and she's been really attached to the foster parents, and they are taking really great care of her.
Sorry. Has the placement indicated any intentions about adoptions of Lilith?
Yes.
What are their plans?
I believe maybe my supervisor can help me understand this. Prior to getting the case and prior to finding relatives, I believe there was an agreement that the foster family would adopt Lilith if no relatives were found.
Okay, so they want to adopt her.
Yes.
Okay. And if the parents' rights are terminated today, is that the way the department intends to proceed? Is continuing to, well, it'll go to the adoption unit, this case will, but as far as you know, the plan is to pursue possible adoption with the placement. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Grove? Any questions?
Madam Caseworker, why do you believe that termination of mom's parental rights is in the child's best interest?
I believe sorry, give me a second to collect my thoughts. I believe it's in the best interest for mom's rights to be terminated because she was not in compliance with her service plan. I believe there's abandonment in this case where she lost contact with her child at the beginning of the case, where mom failed to bring Lilith to the hospital to get regular checkups and to keep her child's health up and not doing what she needed to do, and then also knowingly placed the child in harm's way.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. Why are you of the opinion that mom constructively abandoned the child during the pendency of this case?
I believe mom's inconsistent communication with Lilith, to my knowledge, not paying child support, if I remember correctly, and then losing contact with the child in April, and then not being in contact with the department.
Is it your testimony that mom has not been in contact with the child since April? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. You said something a moment ago regarding mom and endangerment. What were you saying?
I was saying, sorry, let me remember what I said. I remember endangerment because the mom failed to bring Lilith to the hospital for regular checkups, was not responding to any of her feeding cues, was not taking the advice of education on the child, and just sorry, I'm just getting my words confused. I'll stop right there.
Very good. Thank you. Pass witness.
Ms. Bennett, any questions? No? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. McClure, any questions?
Yes, I have a few, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Foster, can you tell us, what did the department do to try to locate my client after she kind of fell off the face of the earth in around April?
Yes, ma'am. I have tried to contact her via her phone that we have on file, and then via email, and I have not had any responses. At the time when I was in contact with Mr. Mann, I asked if he knew about her whereabouts, and the last we had heard, she was living with a boyfriend, and then she got kicked out from that person's place and had lost contact with her. I tried reaching your office to see where she was, and last we heard, Miss Sluter was in Austin with a rap or reggae band.
And so you don't have any current information with any validity that you know of as to where she is at this time?
That's correct.
I had filed an answer on her behalf requesting special accommodations. Were there any special accommodations that were made by the department due to her disabilities?
I believe so. I don't fully remember, so I apologize.
did you ever have, when was the last time you yourself had contact with her?
I've never had contact with her.
Did the prior worker give you any ideas of ways that you could help her better understand the case?
Yes.
Like what?
The prior caseworker told me I could talk to her about this case. She told me to reach out to her attorney, her therapist, to try to locate her, and I've done that, and I've not been able to get a hold of Ms. Schluter at this time.
Okay, pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. McCary. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Wood, any questions?
This is pertinent probably down the line, Judge, but there was a family placement, is that correct?
Yes.
And they've gone through a certain level of being approved, is that right?
Yes.
And had limited contact with the child,
Yes, they've been in contact with the child.
but it's still your recommendation and you feel it's in the best interest that the child remain where the child is currently placed.
Yes, I do. However, I would like for her to remain in contact with her relatives.
Okay, no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Next witness, are any more questions before we move to witnesses?
A couple more, Judge, if Ms. Foster, please.
Yes, sir.
So Ms. Foster, let's just make sure we're all clear. You never had any communication or contact with Ms. Schluter, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you said some of this at least, but tell us everything you did to try to make contact with her.
So beginning in May up until this month, every month I would attempt to call Ms. Schluter at least 3 times. And then I also tried to email her and I did not get any response. And I've also been in contact with her therapist and the parenting coach, which parenting coach did not know where she was.
Did the therapist know where she was?
Other than she was with some rap or reggae band in Austin.
Okay. And by that point, had Ms. Schluter's counseling with her therapist stopped?
Yes.
So the therapist was not in regular contact with her either by that point?
No.
Okay. Besides phone calls and emails, did you have any other avenue for trying to reach out or get a message to her?
No.
And you never heard from her. Did she ever answer you? Any call you back or eventually send you an email?
No, she did not.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Next witness, Mr. Wilson.
Well, unless you want me to call CASA, Judge, I know you always ask them anyway, but I can go ahead and call CASA now and get that started.
I'll ask them.
Okay, well, that's my only witness then, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McClure, Ms. McCary, y'all have any witnesses?
Unfortunately, no.
No, okay, thank you. Mr. Grove, Ms. Bennett, y'all have any witnesses?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Grimes, what do you think?
Well, I have been on the majority of the supervised visits and observed both the parents, and it's interacting with the child, and it's something I'm not sure I can explain, but it's an example of 2 people having absolutely no idea how to parent, how to take care of a child. And it is very frustrating to watch. The current foster mother, Alicia, as well as Kim Singleton, did everything, and I did everything we could to assist them in taking care of the baby's needs, but they never seemed to get that. Also, as that supervised visits went on, they didn't have enough gas to get there, had to work, and they just started not coming. We terminated supervised visits. We also terminated Zoom calls because they weren't showing up for those. So it's pretty much the standard pattern of what they've done. As far as the child goes, she was, when the parents, even at 3.5 months to 4 months, which is really early for a possessive child, she would cry the entire supervised visits. It was very traumatic for her. And the current foster mother did everything she could to help them to understand what the baby needed, but it just never worked. My recommendation in my report is that the baby stay where she is. I saw her a few weeks ago and she's doing incredible. She is very happy and she's really come a long way. She is very, very attached to her foster mom. And I think moving her at this time would really be very traumatic to her in the long run, considering the trauma she's already been through. And I put some of that in my report if you can look at it when you want. But I really feel like the baby should stay where she is. And I understand the kinship preference, but I don't think it would be beneficial in this case.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grimes. Anybody have any questions, Mr. Grimes? No. Okay, before I get to Mr. Wood, I forgot to ask Mr. Wilson or Ms. Foster, what is the status of the ICPC with those people in Utah, Montana, Idaho, wherever it is?
Montana.
Right. I don't know that, Judge. Perhaps Ms. Foster or her program director can tell us more about that.
I believe the ICPC process was approved for the relatives in Montana.
Has the ICPC been circulated to everybody?
I believe so. Maybe Nikila can help me answer that. I believe so.
Mr. Grimes, you haven't seen it, have you?
No.
Mr. Wood, have you seen it?
I'll check, Judge, but I don't recall that.
Okay. Okay.
We'll make sure that it goes out, Judge, if it hasn't.
Okay, and whatever happened about Dad told me that his maternal grandma was Cherokee, maternal grandfather was Choctaw, and they were both registered. What happened?
That's right. Yes, thank you, Judge. I meant to bring that up. So our office sent a notice per the statute up to those tribes and never received anything back from them. So I think that as I read the statute, our duty was to notify them and put them on notice. And it was their duty to respond if they had any interest. And what I heard anecdotally through Mr. Mann and his attorney or whoever was it finally sounded like neither one of the parents had any tribal registrations or memberships.
Okay. So y'all checked it out and no response. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, just checking. Okay, thank you. Mr. Wood?
Judge, I have an email that the home study was approved June 23rd, but that's all I have.
Okay.
Nothing further than that. I do agree that both parents' parental rights should be terminated per the mediated settlement, and then based on the testimony today. Lilith has been placed in a great home, and I believe that it is in her best interest for her to remain there and stay there. There may need to be some further exploration with the other placement, but at this time, I feel like the child's exactly where she needs to be and would do great being adopted there.
Okay, what do you think about termination, Mr. Grove? I mean, Mr. Wood.
Yes, Judge.
Wood, Grove, y'all's names kind of go together. Woods are in a grove, whatever. Okay.
It's a long day, Judge. I'll give you that.
I know.
There are worse people I could be confused with, Judge.
I haven't had anything to eat all day, and I'm drinking my tea from yesterday. So I'm like getting punched, punched. I can't say that word, but punch goofy. So yeah. Okay.
Judge, yes, I do believe that both their rights should be terminated. they've shown a lack of parenting skill, a lack of wanting to develop that parenting skill. They have previous CPS history, the mom does, and she has not given the effort that needs to be put in to show that she can parent this child.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say or add for closing?
Judge, you heard us mention earlier about the sibling who was with his father down here in Llano County, I believe.
Right.
I think there's been sibling visits, and as far as I know, the department intends to continue that. We want to make sure the court's okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to say something. At
Oh.
the last court hearing, when it was ordered for sibling visits to occur, I did reach out to the caseworker for the Idaho case, and she told me visits. She talked to the father of that child and said visits would not be in the best interest of the kid until the parental rights of Lilith have been terminated for his safety. But once the rights are terminated, we can get those visits going.
Okay. Okay, well, we can work on that pretty soon.
And Your Honor, I just want to let you know the aunts out of state, her and two of her boys did drive down here to Burnett, and they had I think a 2-hour visit that Mark supervised
That's correct.
Okay,
to meet her.
that was nice. Okay. Miss Miller, have you met any of this family?
Hi, you guys. Yeah, so I did meet the aunt and the two, the little cousins. They came down for a visit with Lilith, and then we had one Zoom with the uncle and the aunt.
Okay.
And we had one other Zoom with just the aunt.
What's your plans?
Well, during the mediation, I got to have a conversation with Dad. Obviously, Mom wasn't there, and I just really think it's important that Lilith have the, when appropriate, ability to have interaction with her parents over this almost year now. Up until we stopped visits, I feel like I developed a good relationship with both of them, working with them. So I'm not uncomfortable interacting with them, and I don't have an issue with facilitating visits, obviously when appropriate at my discretion with them. Since mediation, we have talked to Dad probably maybe once a week and did a few video visits with him. As I've always said, I really think it's important for her to have her, family, or she knows she's not gonna, they're not disappearing. She knows where she came from. And so we intend on keeping a relationship with the aunt, uncle, and cousins in Montana if they, want to. And I actually was the one that was requesting to figure out what's going on with the sibling because he's here. So I really want her to have a connection with him. So long as everybody wants to, work with me, that's where we're at with that. She definitely is our little baby and we love her very, very much. So we are ready to make her whole life whole. You know what I mean? We don't want to skimp out. I think she deserves to know where she came from. And even though, mom and dad cannot take care of her, if they're in a good space and it's appropriate, I don't have a problem with her knowing who they are.
Are you planning on adopting her? If you
Yes.
can?
Yes.
Okay.
If I could do it 9 months ago, I would have did it 9 months ago. Yeah.
What
she's
about,
part of
you know that I know about other kids in your home.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do about, and it doesn't have anything to do with Lilith, but it's all about a family. What is your plan? What's happening with those kids?
Yeah, so we haven't had the final yet. So the plan, I don't know like what's allowed to be discussed or whatever, but they're scheduled to be terminated with both of their parents. We went to mediation. And so they're gonna be with us forever too. So
Okay.
our and all of the children, including my son that's adopted, have been together since the it's been probably a year. So it's all been consistent. They're all very bonded with each other. My two older girls run around going, my sissy, and it's really funny because they're super proud that they have a baby sister.
Okay.
So we are a very cohesive unit. And like I said, Lilith is the definition of a Velcro baby. She does not, the only reason why she's not over here trying to be on my lap is because my husband put Miss Rachel on for her right now. Because she very much is my Velcro baby. She definitely has a strong bond with me in particular. If I dare leave while she's watching me and I don't take her with me, and I'm talking like to throw the garbage, it's like, how dare you? You know what I mean? She's quite the sassy little queen over here. But yeah, she's a very big part of our family, and with everybody's blessing, we would love to make that permanent.
Okay, now those
Ready
relatives,
for her video cameo whenever you guys want to see her.
whenever you want to put the camera over there, you can, because you can talk.
Hey, baby.
Now, those relatives you talked about out of state, are they maternal or paternal? I can't remember.
Paternal.
Paternal.
Say hi. You gonna wave?
Yeah, she's always been an ugly child too, huh? Yeah.
They're maternal. They're
Oh,
mom.
yes. I'm sorry. Yes, for mom's uncle, right?
Maternal. Okay. Yeah, and I know Miss Miller, because like I said, she is foster mom on 3 of my kids in another county. So and that case has been kind of up and down and around and kind of crazy too. So okay, well, anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
Do you want to say something?
Okay, well, I'm going to find by clear and convincing evidence that termination of Mr. Mann's parental rights to Lilith is in Lilith's best interest based solely on Mr. Mann's voluntary affidavit of relinquishment. Therefore, his parental rights are terminated. I'm also going to find that termination of Ms. Schluter's parental rights as to Lilith is in Lilith's best interest based under Texas Family Code, Section 161.001B1 in and O grounds. I think those were the grounds that you were going under, Mr. Wilson. Any other grounds that you were trying?
Which one? What was the one before O, Judge?
Oh, I did N and O.
N and O.
Constructive abandonment and not compliance with the service plan.
Sure. I mean, that's fine with me, Judge. I think there's endangerment there. I think there's D and E as well, but N and O is, if that's what the court wants, is fine with me.
I'm happier with N and O. So
Okay.
Therefore, mom's parental rights are terminated under the N and O grounds. I'm going to find the department made multiple reasonable efforts to try to return the child to the parents based upon the testimony of Mr. Grimes and Ms. Foster through their efforts about the service plan and about mediated settlement agreements, and that reasonable efforts were attempted. I'm going to name the department as Lilith's permanent managing conservator, Mr. Grove, Ms. Bennett, Ms. McCary, Ms. McClure. Thank you for your representation. This was a kind of interesting case we had with the parenting coaches and the not parenting coaches and everything. So we thank y'all, and y'all are released. I'm going to order the ICPC is to be circulated to the court and the items within a week. No change in placement without a court order. And our Mr. Wood and CASA stays on. Our first perm after hearing is 11/12/25. Okay, anybody need anything else? Okay, Ms. Greenwell,
I have a question.
coming, you should get to your hearing in time. And Ms. Lilith, we'll see you in November, if not before. And thank y'all. Everybody's released and will be excused and closed for the day. Thank you.
I just have a question, Your Honor, really quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sorry, this is kind of like our first time going through this particular type of experience. What does that mean? Like, will she be able to remain with us and adopt her, or?
Yeah, no, I mean, I need to read the ICPC, the items need to read it, but you know, that's our plan right now. I mean, like I said, we gotta read it because it's a family deal. So, but I said no placement change without a court order. That would mean a hearing, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, anybody else?
Thanks,
Okay,
Judge.
thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, Judge.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.